I guess you heard that.
Yes, heard that.
Okay, well, we heard that last time and it didn't work. So, but this time I'm using the old classic way to stream, which has worked in the past. So I'm tired of the missing. Oh, okay, all right. Looks like we got a live stream going. Looks like it's working.
Start recording.
It's already going.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, see, they have this start recording button, but it's but it goes to Dropbox and wants you to send your live stream to Dropbox. No, thank you. Well, I mean, I guess not much different from going to YouTube, but at least I know I've successfully done it to YouTube before. Not last time, but this time. Seems like it's okay. All right, we got 7 minutes.
Now, what about if we're using this computer? Do you have LibreOffice on here? I can use it on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Screen share.
Let me. Yeah. Let me. Is the live stream on here? Is the presentation on here on
ODP,
Press?
I believe that's what it is.
Oh, I can't install Press. I can't install Impress on that one. So I need to get Chrome installed on this one, and it's not. I might have to do just Firefox.
Okay.
Oh. I could just do. Oh, all right. Kill that. I swear to God, the demo guys just hate me. They must have me on my on their calendar. I was just trying to get a terminal to come up. Control Alt T. Where is it? Oh. Yeah.
But what operating system are you in?
This is
Linux.
over here.
Yeah.
Oh, that works in Linux?
I'm on Linux running this one, and that's Windows in case everything goes to hell.
No, it works in Chrome.
Yeah, but I can't get Chrome installed. Awesome. All right. All right. How about? Oh, awesome.
Wait a minute.
That doesn't. Oh, here we go. All right.
Could I run it on my phone and then just stick my camera up in front of it?
You just give people the URL and just sit there.
It's hating the USB drive. That's what it is. I do believe I broke it.
And what was that one over there? Is that what you were booting from?
Yeah, I was booting from this guy. Is that gonna work? I don't think so. All right. Let's get Impress installed on this one. That's Windows. What am I doing? It's a work computer. I can't install on there anyway.
There you go. This video.
Can I just do impress? I guess not. All right. So, wait. No, I don't want that one. I want the SDK set. That's all I want. Yeah. All right. So 20 more seconds. Should be done. Having a fast connection helps. Well, compared to mine anyway.
Yeah, I have a good signal on the phone. If it's too slow, I don't know what speed we get. Might be a little faster than that.
Okay.
We're just sharing that connection to this.
It's just the live. We're just using the libraries.
Yeah, but it's not. This bridge probably isn't real big. Maybe DSL.
Yeah.
Live streaming is on.
Trying to talk, but we can't.
Okay, you're
hear you.
muted, by the way.
We can't hear
I
you.
can't hear you. I can see, I can read your lips, but I can't hear you.
Not all of us can
Okay,
read.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I had to switch to the backup computer because my flash drive, my Linux flash drive died.
Well, when Linux fails, insert Windows.
It's not Linux. It's a hardware problem.
It's like drugs, just say no.
Can I just lay down in front of the road and let cars drive over me? All right. Live streaming. I guess it's still going.
Put your picture up there in the corner. Can you all hear us okay? Good, okay.
It's the stream health is still good, so I think we're okay. I've said that before, so whatever. Okay. The backup computer is working. Y'all can hear us, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's get Shay going with his thumb drive. And oh, we had Impress going. Space requirements. Sorry, we gotta get Impress installed to so Shay can do his thing. Yeah, just a couple more seconds here. Typical. Yep. Install. It's fine. Get this thing going. You plug that in there, Shay.
To the tower of power.
All right. Not gonna lose power.
Well, I can, we can
Okay.
start talking about it. And
Yeah.
Plus you want to mention that thing from Todd Lewis.
Oh yeah. So while that's installing, I got a email from Todd Lewis today about Open Source 101 that's happening. All right. Hey, can y'all hear me?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Looked like Zach was freaking out about something. All right. So Open Source 101 conference is going to happen in Columbia March 3rd. If y'all can come down. It's $49 for the day, and you get lunch included with that. And Todd always puts on a great conference. So that's March 3rd. All day event right in downtown Columbia.
Why don't you send an email to the list about it?
Yeah, we'll do that too.
Do that.
I'm just stalling if you can't tell. All right, here we go.
Well, let's just let that run and I
Yeah.
can start showing them the hardware and stuff like that.
Okay. All
And
right. So
describing it.
we got to share the screen. Hold on. Oh, they can see the little guy, but we got to share the screen. All right. Wait, here's on this side. Browser line. Go away. Okay.
You have to go up on top now.
Up top. Oh. Thank you.
Firefox cannot allow permanent, so I guess you have to uncheck remember.
Good. You killed me. All right.
Well, click the pull down. It says
Wait, I
select
think we.
Windows or-
No.
Right there.
We got Chrome here. I think.
Meanwhile.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Would you? Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Mhm.
So
See that one that's highlighted has a pull down arrow at the far right hand side of it to select which window to share.
Firefox and Jitsi are killing me again. This is never ending deal. All right. Cool. Come on. Oh, you're not there.
Let me try something.
Oh, there you go.
Just say entire screen.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Shay's a genius. Yay. Oh,
Whoops.
awesome. All right. All right. I've got Microsoft Office on this one. Do you think it'll read ODP?
I don't think it does. And I didn't think to save it as a PPT.
Microsoft is pretty much a one-way street.
Well, I mean, like I said, we can go with what we got and,
Okay, so we're just gonna keep talking. Oh, geez, not that again. So go ahead and start talking, Shay. We'll get to a demonstration after that
So
it's all installed. So it's sharing the whole screen.
okay. So we can't see you guys. Can you verbally indicate whether you can hear me? They must not be hearing me.
They're not hearing you. All right. I think that first time I closed. All right. This sharing thing is gonna stop.
Oh, there's something.
There we go.
We,
What was that? Through your stats. Okay.
So if we click over,
Oh yeah. That's it.
Nope.
Did we lose him? Ugh. All right. Moving backup files.
okay,
Awesome.
so it's almost finished.
Several minutes. I don't care about the backup files. We still have to do a reboot. Stream health is getting bad. All right. What about this guy? Wait. I got Chrome on here. Oh yeah, well I was already on Chrome. Yeah, there is Chrome. Let's go to Meet on here. Let's see. Oh God. All right, this is completing, so we just gotta wait. Let's see.
So yeah, I guess we don't want to do the entire screen apparently.
Yeah.
Let's try
So
that.
sharing.
Let's try that.
This one.
I guess.
It's gonna go to the infinite thing.
Nope.
No, it's not. Why would it do that? Okay, that's crazy. Can y'all hear us? Can't see him.
well, he's not moving. It's
No.
static now.
Static. All right.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you, but you're rather quiet. Are you there?
I can't hear you.
Someone
I
else.
think they're gone now.
If only there was a room full of IT professionals that could help.
I've been downgraded to amateur.
Brent says, there he is.
Okay, we're back on the other computer now while the backup computer reboots.
We can hear you better on this one anyway. The microphone on the other one is not as loud.
All right, so we can show you the hardware right now. If we share, we can share entire screen on this one.
Well, the camera's here. I can just hold it up in front of the camera.
All right, can they see it though?
Not really, but.
Okay.
Okay, so what we're talking about is called Othernet. It was originally called Outernet, and they had some kind of copy trademark claim about it, so they changed the name to Othernet. But it comes with it's a single board computer. You can't really see it, but it's basically a system on a chip, similar to a Raspberry Pi. And it will actually run a version of Raspbian, but you can't run the Othernet software on that Raspbian. They have a build that they make with a utility called build root, and that's the image that will run the Othernet data retrieval. So it just hooks up with a regular F connector for, like a cable TV cable, and you run a cable out to your receiver, and this is the receiver. It's got the cable connection there, and you just point it up at the sky and you start getting data. But now it's not quite that simple, but when I do my presentation, I can give you some more of the details on it. I'm going to try opening another window here that is one of the Othernet receivers that's online that can be accessed publicly. It's not mine, but it's someone else's. And let's see. Now, I'm wondering if y'all can see that. Let's see. Do y'all see do you see like a picture of a globe and a bunch of stuff orbiting around it?
No, we just see your face. You're on
Okay.
camera, so you need to share your screen.
Yeah, let me see figure out how to do that. How do I do that, Ben?
Share screen. Oh, actually, yeah, right there. Share
This one.
entire screen. Click that.
Let's-
Click this guy right here. Just click it and then say share.
Okay.
All right.
All right, how about now? Do you see anything other than my face now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is the Othernet main menu, basically. It's a web, it has its own web server. When you first hook it up, it starts up as a hotspot and you can connect to it, and that takes you to this, or you can join it to a local Wi-Fi, and then you can connect to it from any computer that's connected to that Wi-Fi. And then this is one some guy has just shared his out on the internet. And I'll pass the URL along later on. You just log in as username guest and password as guest.
All right, Shay, what we're seeing is a picture of space trash orbiting the Earth. That's Star Wars.
That's the picture.
Okay.
And so I'll show you a couple of things.
Are they seeing the icons up top?
Yeah.
Okay.
You should see these icons at the top. And
Yes.
okay, it's here we go. So on the tuner, you have a status screen, and it shows you whether it's receiving data or audio at the moment. The signal to noise ratio, this guy's is much better than mine ever gets. But anyway, this is just for diagnostic, and I use this screen for pointing the antenna to get it pointed right at the satellite, and you try to minimize the number on that signal to noise ratio. or you try to get it to the smallest negative. Mine actually comes up with a negative number. He's got a positive number on his. So you try to get it to the smallest negative number. So that's, that's just a utility screen for getting things started. And this is the network utility that, you come in and put in. You can either configure it as a hotspot, or you can go over here to network mode. And since I'm not logged in as an admin, I can't select it, but you can select either to be a hotspot or a client. And if you make that change, then you have to click apply and reboot. But,
Live streaming is on.
Okay.
okay. Whoop, whoop. Where's my microphone?
Right there.
Okay. Nope.
All right, there you go.
No, here.
All right, can y'all hear me now? We're on the other backup computer now.
Let's see. Whoops. No, I don't want to do that.
Need a Chrome extension. Of course.
Okay. Hopefully y'all still hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. The one that says radio is it's a radio audio program that they provide. It is a lot of times it's Voice of America News, and other times it's some international radio broadcasts. A lot of the time they have music on it, and it's only about an 8 kilobit bandwidth signal, so the music sounds really terrible. But the audio is, if the voice is okay. I'm going to try this and see what happens here. Oh, the sound is. Yeah. No.
Okay, everything is muted now. We can't hear you.
Oh, sure.
Okay. How about now? Whoop.
All right, I'm muted here.
All right. We're getting a little bit of an echo, but that's okay. Did y'all hear the radio broadcast?
Don't try to start it again.
No, we did not.
Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, the radio is a lot of times it's Voice of America News, and wonder how we can get rid of that echo. Anyway, that's the radio is kind of minimally useful. The weather thing is kind of neat. It takes a few seconds to come up. This one is a lot slower because it's coming up over the internet.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Oh yeah, much better. And so this one is showing air currents.
Can you get a sound check? Can y'all hear?
Can y'all hear okay?
Can y'all hear now? Oh, man.
Yes.
Okay. But you can hear me talking now?
Yes.
Great. Okay. All right. So this is, you can zoom in a little bit on this.
Look at that jet stream.
Yeah, I can do it with a mouse, but I don't know how to do it.
Going from Canada to Europe. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, you can use the scroll wheel on a mouse and zoom in, but you can only zoom in so far. I mean, I can get it zoomed in to about North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida is about the tightest I can zoom in. But it has that, and then it also has some ocean currents, which is kind of interesting to look at, but I think that one would take a long time to come up, so I'm not going to try to bring it up. It'll come up pretty quick if you're running it yourself. It's just running this one over the internet that comes up kind of slow. And this thing with messages is tied in with the amateur packet radio relay, APRS, amateur packet radio service or something, amateur packet relay service. And so all these ones that say something via APRS are messages on the amateur service, and you have to be a ham, licensed ham radio operator to use it. And there are ground stations all over the country that you can transmit to, and if you have it going to, there's a whole website on how to use it, but if you get it going to the Othernet, it will show up here. And but you have to, the uplink from your computer has to go over radio to one of these ground stations, and then it gets somewhere and gets sent up over the satellite. But
So it's receive.
I beg your pardon?
I was saying it's receive only.
It is, but yeah, it's receive only, except that you can transmit through the secondary channel.
Okay.
And yeah, pretty much everything here is receive only.
Hey, Shay, I don't know if you covered it. Could you kind of give us an overview of, at a high level, what Othernet is? Like, is it owned by a corporation, or is it like a collective, and is it bi-directional? Or?
And we can switch over to here.
Okay.
All right, see if we can stop.
All right, Ben wants to try to switch over to
the presentation.
the first backup computer. And all right.
All right. Can y'all hear us now?
Yes.
Maybe not.
Wait. All right. Hold on. We can't hear you yet. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We got you. All right. And we got the presentation up. Just got to share it. Application window right there. Share. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So we show the hardware. Just let you.
Yeah. So this one, what is it? F5 to go full screen?
Yeah. No, F11.
No, it's F5.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So this one, this is the same thing I showed you a minute ago, but it just has a clear cover over it. The one that Ben got has a dark green cover over it, so it's not as easy to see, but.
That's not showing the presentation.
Oh, okay. Escape.
We can see that.
Okay.
see that.
Well,
Okay, we'll just work
I'll
that.
just work with it from here.
Yeah, there you go.
So the circuit board you see here is the one that I showed you earlier. This one just has a clear cover over it instead of a dark green cover. At the lower left is where you hook up the standard micro USB 2 amp 5 supply. The upper left is a Wi-Fi dongle that comes with it. And that's all that comes with it. It doesn't even come with a power supply. You have to provide that. And there are two micro SD sockets over here, and you provide the micro SD cards. One of them you burn with an image file. And like I said, there are two image files you can use, but only one of them will get you the Othernet satellite data. It has an audio jack, which is over right there, but you get the same quality audio out of that that you get on the web server. So it not really that useful. So that's what the hardware looks like. This is the dish. That this end is the pointed toward the satellite. So we've
Yep.
and I'll upload this presentation so y'all can look at it later. And this is just telling you that this little receiver can receive directly from the satellite without having to go through a reflector. And that's the way I'm running mine. And other than when there's a really big rainstorm, it works fine. And this link here is really neat because you can put in your location and you can move the you are here pointer around to where your dish is going to be located in your yard. And it will actually draw a line out in the direction it needs to go. So you can see, okay, well, I need to point it right above my next door neighbor's chimney or something like that. You can find landmarks on the, on the map that you can use to point your antenna.
What's the LNB?
LNB is your antenna. Low noise block converter is what that stands for.
Okay. Thank you.
That's a term from the really old satellite TVs. If anybody's worked with, like DirecTV or DishNet, that's what they call theirs, is LNBs. So these are some tools I used, and they're very inexpensive. I mean, the one at Harbor Freight's about $5, and it works great. And the next image will have some pictures of them, but it lets you set the angle above the horizon that your receiver is pointed at. And both of them work the same way. They're just a weighted thing on a pivot. And so it always points down. And then this one has an arrow pointing up. This one over here has the scale on the bottom side. So it just has the down pointing part of it.
If you have a modern smartphone, they have apps using the accelerometer and the gyro that will do that.
Okay, I wasn't sure how accurate they would be, so I hadn't tried that. But
I mean, I think they'll be inaccurate within like a degree or two, but
that's plenty.
They're probably as accurate as those devices.
Well, maybe so. Like I said, it never had occurred to me that they would be that accurate. Okay, that's a good point. All right, so let's see, what's next? Oh, okay. They have on Thingiverse, they have a 3D printed device you can get. And this is what it looks like, and you can attach it to a post or a wall, and then you just get it pointed and you tighten down the screws to hold it in that position.
You have to print that?
Yeah. But now and what I ended up doing with mine, my 3D printer was acting up, so I ended up just using an old DirecTV dish. And so I didn't use the dish part of it. I just used the arm that holds the LNB. So, this dish isn't doing a thing. I could take it off, but it's got the screws in it that hold some of the things together. So I just left it there. So, but you can see the antenna is pointing away from the dish, and I put the angle indicator on this arm to get it positioned, and it's it's not hard at all to find somebody throwing away an old satellite dish, and real easy to put it up. And just a little warning about, the satellite dishes are made what they call an offset focus. So the angle that the dish and the arm are at is not the angle that the satellite is. So if you're going to use the dish, you have to take that into account. And that's more than I can really get into here, but you can find plenty on the internet about it. Okay. And this just talks about, I've already mentioned all of this, that the using the Linux that was made with build root is the one that gets you the Othernet receiver. And the other image that runs a version of Raspbian, these receiver cards have some sort of transceiver built into them, and you can send data. If you have two of the cards, you can send data back and forth between them, but I'm not sure what kind of range there is. And just talking about, when I set mine up, I put up a little table out in the yard and brought a laptop out there and got everything running so that I could fine tune the antenna position. And, I didn't find it to be very difficult. And it's just, that if you use the dish, you have a bigger area that you're collecting the signal from. So you'll probably be able to continue to receive during a rainstorm, but the positioning of the dish toward the satellite is a lot more critical. And I have about 100-foot cable running out of a window to go out to the antenna, and I haven't had a problem with that. And I've already talked about this stuff here. And yeah, and just, when you first plug it up, get everything running, all the stuff that you see is a collection of data for however long it's been running. It'll keep stuff for about 2 weeks, and I think it throws stuff away after it gets about 2 weeks old. And so when you first start it up, there'll be very little available. The radio should be working, and you'll see a few news stories, but after a while, the news stories will fill up the screen. All right, so that's all right. So how do we get back to where you had the?
So what it sounds like what they're doing is they have a satellite that is always broadcasting data. And for like the Wikipedia stuff, you just caching. Yeah. And so
Never deletes it.
And so you can only view what has been transmitted while your receiver's online and in the past 2 weeks.
Where was that? HTTP.
Now, Shay, is there only one satellite?
There is one that covers the Americas and one that covers parts of Europe, a pretty big part of Europe. And that's, if you go to the website, it's othernet.is. And if it's not there on that site, it'll be on a site they link to.
Shay, who runs it and decides the content? Like the Wikipedia articles are all going to be about cats or,
But cats rule the
18th
internet.
century, English politics.
I think it mentioned there it was contextual, so it'd be interesting to know the context on what you think. If it's regional or
There's a bunch of preppers in Oregon, or is it?
Yeah. Or just meat.
Well, but see, the content would have to be, it's per satellite.
And
So everyone in that range would receive the same content at the same time. It's whether you choose to view it.
Yeah, just wondering who programs it, since there's a limited amount of bandwidth.
just meat, and then we can change the tab. There you go.
said there's some sort of base station in Chicago that does something with it, but I could,
I would also be interested on the chat of how long does it take to break down into 4chan and the worst parts of Reddit.
If it's done by ham radio, I
The Hitler.
It'll just break down into CompuNet.
they just, yeah.
Are y'all seeing the Dreamcatcher stats here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was $69, and then there's some shipping. I think it was maybe
Yeah, it was
76 or something like that.
Yeah.
It looks like it was on one of the crowdsource funders 2 or 3 years ago. Is there anything going on now, or are they just selling off old stock?
I can't really tell you that. I know that they did have a crowdfunding thing a while back, and it was actually the radio was actually a different radio then, and this one's a new one. Okay, here, can y'all see these maps?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the coverage for the US and then for Western Europe primarily. And right now that's pretty much all they have. And they're both on geosynchronous satellites. The one for the US is called SES-2, and the one for Europe is called Astra 3B. But I mean, we're pretty close to one of the strongest. We're like one step off of the strongest signal that's available. So we're pretty good. So anyway, that's about it. I'll be happy to answer any questions. But this, if you go searching on Google, you'll find several documentation files, because when you get this, when you order it, the stuff you get is what's in this picture right here, and that's it. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
No instructions or anything. And so you have to go hunting around on Google. And it's not, there are some good write-ups. There were a couple of different versions of this board, so you have to make sure you get the right one. As you see up here is version 3.5 or 3.05. Yeah, 3.05. So you want to make sure you get instructions for that version. But other than that, it's real easy.
Yeah, the user guide was actually written by a user.
Yeah. And if you've set up a Raspberry Pi, you can do this.
All right, so it looks like the Othernet company is owned by Othernet Global Ltd, a media sales, music, and property venture backed by Blackstone Group.
Okay.
It's satellite, vertical satellite, they rent the payload on apparently, the SES-2 satellite.
Yeah.
So they're running a very inexpensive bandwidth data feed, because they only have about 20 kilobits, and in Europe they only have about 10 kilobits per second. And so it's, there's you do get some images on that. It has Wikipedia pages and the news stories. Let's see if we can bring that up?
This thing.
Yeah, but anyway, it has Wikipedia pages that are, they select what pages you get to see, and the news stories, they select, I don't know that they select the stories, but they select the sites. Like one of them's Voice of America, one of them is Deutsche Welle, one of them is like KTOS or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember the exact call sign. And there's also Al Jazeera and several other ones that are written in, Chinese or some kind of Arabic language that I don't know what they are.
Al Jazeera is not written in Chinese.
Okay.
We're gonna try to get that site back up where I can show you the news.
Live streaming is on.
Oops.
All right, there we go. All right, so is that it? It's Skylark, right?
Yeah, this is it.
Okay.
Do y'all see the picture with the globe in the satellite trash?
No,
Uh,
we still see the radio.
Here, let me stop sharing over here.
Okay. Share my screen, and we want to go.
Yeah, just you can share everything. Click there, and then go share, and then switch to Skylark.
How about now?
Yep.
There we go.
All right, so there it is. Wikipedia is the last one, of course. And so they'll have some topics for Wikipedia screens that are kind of topical, things going on in the news and all. And they're apparently in date order with the most recent at the top. They're not in alphabetical order or anything. Yeah, so here's some stuff about the, well, no words for that guy. But anyway. So you get.
Are you able to search? I don't see a search box anywhere.
I don't see any links.
Is that panel on the
That's,
left just the
yeah.
pages you have and that's it?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, maybe if you load way out in the sticks and and you were too cheap to pay for HughesNet.
There are links. Or if you're in Europe and have censored internet, then.
Or you live in the middle of nowhere, your power's out, but you have this stuff on battery and you're bored.
Other than that,
You're still limited on what they decide to publish.
yeah.
Yeah, because there's no way because it's one way.
Yeah.
You can't like request. So if it wasn't broadcasted within the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
then it's got no data.
Well, if you really wanted to use it, I think the thing to do would be to scrape that stuff off and store it on a local server.
Yeah.
So you could cache older data, but
I mean, there are a bunch of projects where you can basically download all of the English Wikipedia. I mean, and it's not that big. It's 600 or 800 gigs. You could download all of the English Wikipedia and have it local.
They said, I'm reading on their Wikipedia page, they originally planned to have Ubuntu on there. I'm sitting there thinking, how long would it take to download that?
Ubuntu from like 2004.
Download Alpine Linux.
Yeah.
It's a box.
And probably don't ever subscribe to HughesNet. Buy a site if you don't have satellite internet.
I was looking at something Dish TV had some offered the other day and they said no caps. I just seen it on the
Yeah, it's
flyer.
probably Viasat. Viasat's a really good satellite
Yeah, I don't
service.
know which.
It's kind of like you get unlimited data on your phone up until you hit 22 gigs, and then you put in the slow channel.
I think Viasat caps it. I think they say unlimited, but I think it's like 250. I think is where they start hitting you.
Well, and there's also, I don't know about that service, but there are other satellite services that between the hours of like midnight and 6 a.m., it's unlimited, no data caps at all, because there's no one using it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Viasat, that's what they do.
Well, does anyone have questions for Shay?
Can y'all hear Shay?
I'm struggling to see the use case in our area.
Well, it's for, from the Wikipedia purpose section, that's for censorship free, for educational and emergency purposes. So I think it serves that use case pretty well. I mean, it's very narrow.
Yes.
Zach, are you a ham?
No, not
That's
yet.
why you don't get it. That's why you don't understand.
No, I mean, I would see more useful out of the packetized radio stuff than.
This is that, but you can get outside the atmosphere. You don't have to bounce it off of it.
I'm struggling. I would be, me personally, I would struggle to justify even the money or the time to go set this
And
up.
even over ham, over the packet, you can only really send email.
Well, and You're also not supposed to do anything copyright material over ham radio. This, I feel like, is probably a little more forgiving in that there's not the FCC regulations.
It does appear that y'all have muted y'all's self.
Okay, we just now figured that out. All right. So anyway, I had the screen up with the news, but that's, it's like BBC, Al Jazeera, Deutsche Welle, Voice of America, a couple of other things. Okay. Anyway, that's about it.
Well, great, thank you. Okay.
Any other business going on?
I don't have any business. Does anyone have anything to?
Who set up IPv6 from last month?
I tried to. I couldn't get to. I forgot how to get to my camera mode, so I don't know how to set it up.
Somebody didn't take notes.
You shouldn't.
Well, it's been years since I've ever.
If your modem's in bridge, it's all the router.
My AT&T DSL at work was all.
That's
If you're using an ISP managed modem combo, guarantee you have IPv6 enabled.
last name Anderson.
And it was enabled at home, but I don't have an IPv6 address at home.
I should make Zach check my 4G internet device at home. Carrier grade nonsense.
Could you guys give the spiel again on the conference you had coming up in Columbia?
Yeah.
You just needed to get there.
There we go.
Let me.
Yeah, it's March 3rd, all-day event, probably at the USC Alumni Center, which is right downtown, and it's $49.
What's it called?
Open Source 101.
Oh.
Yeah, Open Source 101, and put on by Todd Lewis. He used to run POSCon a couple years ago, before he turned it into All Things Open, and which has exploded into a 4,000 or 5,000
And
person event.
one of us will forward some info on it that has the schedules of the presentations and things. But yeah, it's March 3rd, on Tuesday, March 3rd, called Open Source 101.
Any big names?
Don't know. Let me see if I can download the schedule and.
Well, there's several people in this room that are looking at the webpage.
Okay.
No names that I recognize.
I mean, I don't recognize the names, but the companies I do. But are they going to be shills for their company?
Well, probably.
It's probably there's going to be some of that. Yeah.
I mean, anytime I see someone advertising which company they work for when they're doing a presentation, my hackles go up about, are they a shill?
Well, that was one of the characteristics of POSCon when he was doing that. It was very commercial oriented. They weren't trying to say it wasn't, but that was, they weren't misrepresenting it, but it was a lot more commercial oriented than the Linux fests were. Or are.
Yeah.
Most of the
Here you go, Chase.
sponsors or speakers aren't like, we have a free and then the enterprise thing where they're just trying to upsell. Most of them are like, like Red Hat and GitHub, I guess you could pay for, but open source.
There's Dow Jones, there's Indeed, there's GitHub and Apache and Red Hat, Juniper.
Like Dow Jones, I doubt they're trying to sell to you, to get listed on the exchange and the thing. It's probably a developer that open sources some of their libraries.
I'm on the front schedule. I don't know who those people are.
That'd be cool.
We've got the feature speakers listed, but I don't know any of these guys.
No, I don't.
2 sessions that would be your interest, Jace. Ash configuration usage part 1 and part 2.
Okay.
You know, a lot of the things that they say are open source are not
Which configuration?
free and open source. It's just open source.
Right.
Which is what we wanted in the first place, it's not free beer, it's just freedom and freedom. Ability to see the source code.
Okay, so do we have plans for next month? Anyone? Would anyone like to give a presentation for next month? Or would anyone like to see a presentation for next month that someone else in this room or in Columbia could give a presentation on?
Somebody explain LVM.
LVM,
Yes.
logical volume management?
Yes.
I think this.
It works, and I don't touch it that much because it works.
I clicked the button the other day when I was setting something up, and I let it go, and it ran for a couple of weeks, and then I ran out of space, and I'm like, oh crap. And I was trying to figure out how to redo my home partition to give me some more space, and I'm looking at it going, it took me 20 minutes to install it. Through the USB stick back in.
Install LVM.
No, just to reinstall the distro I had. Yeah, it's like it's only been on there a few weeks. I'm like, I threw it back on there and just did it without LVM. So
Is Jim Salter involved anymore? I haven't seen him lately.
Yeah, has Jim Salter been there lately?
What do you want to know about LVM?
I haven't seen him in a while. I've seen several articles he's
I
written.
researched it for an hour or so, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen, what's the new thing that he wrote about in the kernel, net filter?
I talked to him regularly. You want me to see if he'll do something?
Yeah.
I can talk to him.
No, what was that article that was recently
Wired.
wired?
I wanted to talk about Nebula.
yes, that looks cool.
I'm actually playing with setting it up right now. Yes.
Oh,
What is it?
Nebula. So say I've got a dynamic connection here. I've got a dynamic connection on my phone. At home, I've got a dynamic connection because it's behind carrier grade NAT. I can have all of them talk to a lighthouse, which has a static IP address. They all talk to it over UDP.
This is the project from
From Slack.
yes, Netflix.
From Slack.
Yeah, Slack.
From Slack. So they all talk to the lighthouse through UDP and are expecting communication back from it. So they can talk to each other by spoofing the lighthouse's IP as the source on the packet.
It's not transversal.
Yes.
It allows them to talk directly to each other, only using the lighthouse as a combined single point of contact, but the traffic doesn't have to flow through.
A big liar.
It can,
No.
but it doesn't have to.
It's basically.
So I was looking at doing like a WireGuard VPN between my home and like a VPS somewhere, and then sending all my stuff to the VPS to get into home. But all of that bandwidth counts on my VPS and it'll add up. But if I just do with Nebula, they'll talk to each other directly. And you just make an overlay.
So you have this Nebula
Lighthouse that all the other devices talk to.
So Alan's gonna give a talk.
I'm reading Jim's article to set this up.
You should be an expert by next month.
Well, we'll see. But somebody put a bug in Jim there. That'd be great.
Oh, that's good.
He's probably too busy with his podcasts and stuff.
No, he's
on now.
full time with ours now.
And he works for Computer Broadcasting Linux Academy.
Yeah, he does.
Doing TextNet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But that's only like twice a month they do that.
No, but
He's still doing stuff.
He did go to CES, and basically after something like that, you just need a few weeks to bring your sanity back.
You mean to get over con crud? That too.
Okay, well, sounds good.
All right.
So you'll contact Jim.
I'll contact you.
All right.
Is there interest in an LVM presentation? Does anybody else care about LVM?
I'd listen to
I'd listen to it, yeah.
It works for me.
I think
I don't poke at it.
I've used it for quite a while. Several years ago, I took a system that had fixed partitions and I needed to re-partition it and ended up using LVM to migrate so that I could free up some space. So went from a fixed partition system to.
I mean, I use LVM, but I follow I let the installer do its thing, and then that's the last time I deal with the LVM, and unless shit hits the fan.
So are you offering them next month?
I can do that. If
Let's do that. That'll work.
Fantastic. Okay.
And we'll try to get.
And we'll try to get
for
to
April or something.
April or something, yeah.
That sounds great. So did y'all hear that? Columbia? You're on mute.
Nod once, if yes.
Are y'all trying to talk to us?
It's got his name up there.
Did y'all hear that? So maybe next month we'll be seeing LVM.
Sounds good to me.
And then we can voluntold Jim that he's for April.
That sounds good. I'll second that.
Appreciate that.
Jim, give until April to come up with a presentation.
All right, well, if nothing more, does anyone have any other items for the agenda? And if not, may I have a
What
motion?
about Southeast Limits Fest?
What about South?
Have they opened for speakers or anything like
They're
that?
supposed to be closed.
I mean,
Speakers.
the speakers is open, I think until the end of February or maybe into March. Well, why don't everyone just send him a note on email how disappointed you are with the website? Because I think he needs a little poking.
Okay.
So he says he said in Telegram that the speaker deadline will be extended until the beginning of March. Early approval notices for those already in will be sent soon.
Okay.
Is that like halfway through soon or do it forever soon?
Do not ask me.
Is that a Microsoft real soon now?
No, but the automation and the stuff I'm involved with in the video, we're actually going to have real proper live streaming this year. Noah's going to give us 4 different streaming URLs. So we will do true live streaming, which we haven't done that in, I think, when we were using Google Hangouts. And so that would have been 3 or 4 years ago. We did true live streaming. So we'll have that this year. Then we will also push the videos to YouTube. They will stay unlisted for roughly 3 months. And then get dropped again like they did this year, like they did for 2019. So all the videos are up, minus a few exceptions. Some of the audio, particularly on the Friday talks, suck. We know. We apologize. It does get better. Most of the Saturday and Sunday talks are in good shape, and they're all available. Questions?
I guess nothing here.
Hearing none. Oh, I gave a presentation at work about sudo and some bash history hints on how to use it. Would anyone be interested in me doing that, kind of a short little, or does everyone use sudo and not need a refresher on it or anything like that? Sudo, has everyone heard of sudo?
Yes, yes, we have.
All right, so I'm getting blank look.
I do not.
Well, hey, why don't you partner up with him?
No, that's fine.
You take 15 or 20 minutes, and then he can take the rest, and have a little mini series.
I mean, if everyone knows it, then there's no need to present it. So,
I mean, sudo I, and then I'm done with sudo.
See, and that's my last slide. Please don't do this.
At least sudo I will keep it will link the user to the command.
He's clearly just making this up. He doesn't even bother with sudo. He's logged in.
Well, yeah. Motion to adjourn?
That'd be interesting if you hopped in and out of some of the wheel, and everything else.
What's that now?
All, like the wheel group and everything, like the inner workings of pseudo would be interesting to see.
At a past life, I was using Spacewalk and FreeIPA to manage which commands could be executed by which people. So even down to, you can't do LS, but you can do PWD type of, and getting so much fine grain that the way we were doing it was whitelist only. So if you needed to run a command, you needed to come to us and say and tell us why you need to run this command. And then if we approve it, then you get added to your list of approved commands.
You're that kind of system.
At that environment, we
That sounds.
we were a healthcare organization. That's what it took.
I would love to see free IPA, to be honest, because I've been wanting to implement it and I've just never.
Oh, I don't consider myself an expert. I inherited an environment and maintained it.
Did you go to the free IPA thing at Self last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and that's why I wanted.
Yeah, that wasn't nearly as much. That was, I want more from that too, yeah.
Ben, have you implemented free IPA yet?
We have all sorts of stuff.
No, I've messed with it just a tiny little bit and, gone much past the install stage.
We were trying to implement it at Clemson and we never got a chance to.
Yeah.
And now we don't, either of us work there. So.
Inject it properly.
Motion to adjourn?
Yep.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
I don't know if they can see us.
Y'all take care. Thanks a lot, Shay.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
See you later.
Appreciate it.
So that's with the automation. Well.